Hello everyone, welcome back to another webinar. This one's going to be a little dry, nothing really exciting, but it's so important for every business. The idea is to track your efforts, track your marketing efforts. Otherwise, how do you know what's working and what's not working? So I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. Of course, contact me, ask me any questions that you like about it afterwards, but I'm going to give you some sample spreadsheets to use. If you're not comfortable with spreadsheets, I'm going to let you know what programs you can use to help you with the tracking. But the important thing is that when you do anything for business, for marketing your business, I don't care if it's writing content or creating ads or YouTube videos or podcasts or whatever, you have to track it to first understand what is resonating with your audience, what's working, what's not working. And the idea is that when you do find out what's working, then you do more of that. Let's say that you're marketing on Pinterest and you're also, doing a podcast. And what if the the number of people that come to your website or call you or whatever are coming from Pinterest? Then it makes sense that you're going to do more Pinterest because obviously you've captured an audience there. And then you can also look at your podcast and try to figure out what's not working on there, make some changes to see what you can do to beef up, the traffic there. But you're not going to know that if you're not tracking it. So let's get to the bottom line of how to do tracking for marketing. All right. All right. So we're going to scroll down, I think. All right. So we're going to set up, I'm going to try to set up a repeatable system that can work in any business. Now, I know a lot of aging in place professionals are solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, very small companies. So I always recommend to do the simplest things possible at the beginning and then ramp it up. So that's why I like using spreadsheets. Plus the fact that spreadsheets, you have to actually understand every single piece that goes into that spreadsheet. Once you do that, then you really understand the system, you understand what's happening. And even if you yourself aren't going to do it, from now on, maybe you have somebody in the marketing department, or maybe you're hiring somebody to do it. As a business owner, you should at least understand what is involved in the process. So we're going to look at all of these issues here, these learning outcomes, and then we're going to get right to it. All right, so the agenda basically, you can see we're going to set up tracking tools. We're going to talk about UTMs. Sounds a little complicated, but it really isn't. It's something you should talk to with your webmaster, or unless you're the webmaster. We're going to talk about running a weekly marketing meeting and decide what to do next based on the data. And I just want you to know a weekly marketing meeting can also be just with you. It doesn't have to be with a team, unless of course you include ChatGPT or whatever AI program as your team. Okay, so the very first thing that you want to do when you're tracking is you want to understand what it is that you're tracking. What is your goals? And then the goals, the tracking helps you to get to your goal. So let's say your goal is to make $20,000 a month. That would be amazing. I would love that. Or the goal is to book 20 assignments, 20 projects, in a month, or whatever time. Or the goal could be to get X number of leads, or customer acquisitions, or whatever, whatever your goals are. And I would start off with just one or two so that you can get into the practice of setting these up. Don't go whole hog on it at the beginning unless you already have this already set up. But it's a way you should have them written down. You should put them up on a board in front of you at all times so you see it every single day that you walk into the office, and you can see what it is that you're trying to achieve. And you can track, are you heading in that right direction? All right. So for online tracking, which is what we're talking about here, you're going to use, or you're going to need, an analytics program. Now, years ago, Google Analytics was the thing to use. It's not so much anymore, only because a few years ago, I think in 22, they changed it. They said they upgraded it or updated it. What they really did was made it so convoluted and so complicated. I'm on a lot of boards and forums and all kinds of programs, masterminds and everything with other professional SEO professionals and firms, and almost everyone has pretty much given up on Google Analytics unless you're a very, very large firm. It just isn't meant for small businesses anymore. I don't know why they did what they did, but it's not useful. But if you are already using it, if you enjoy the new Google Analytics, then go for it. It's free. So put it on your website and go for it. I myself use Clicky.com. There is a fee for it. I think it's $70 a year, something like that. But it is so much easier to use than Google Analytics. So I use Clicky.com if you want to take a look at that. In fact, I can show you what Clicky.com looks like. Give me a second and I'll get there. So this is my Clicky.com dashboard for my other websites, seniorsafetyadvice.com, for the last 60 days. It gives me the number of visitors. It gives me the number of actions that they took, the total time that they've spent, that has been spent on the site, the average time per visitor, the bounce rate, which is how many people come, what percentage of people come to a page and then just leave without going to any other page. It tells me the pages that are most visited, the percentage of, compared to the previous time frame, and what pages people are currently on and where they're from. I've got Canada, mostly the US here, and Pinterest is my number one traffic source at this point. MailPoet is my email program, ChatGPT, and this is my other email program, and LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and all of that. And then the locations of where people are coming to from the website, the traffic sources, searches, meaning they're searching for it. They found the website on search engines, on social media. Direct means they come directly to the site, probably from my email, newsletters, links, ads, all kinds of things. And I like that it gives you keyword phrases that people are typing in, because then it gives me an idea. If I'm not, I don't have anything on my website about electronics. I mean, I have technology, but I don't have anything that says senior-friendly electronics. So that gives me an idea. I should write an article about senior-friendly electronics. And I don't have a page on fall prevention products. It's scattered from article to article, but not any one page. So that's very interesting. And this one also kind of falls into that. So that gives me ideas of more information to add to the site. But in other words, it gives me a compilation of information that I need in order to see what is happening on my website. All right, let me get back to the presentation. Okay, the other two programs that you should have, one is Google Console, Google Search Console. That's very easy to set up on your website. If you don't have it set up, definitely speak with your webmaster and get that going. And then it also gives you information more on keywords and pages that are being seen. The Clicky program gives you some keywords that people are typing in, but Google Search Console gives you even more. And then a Google Business Profile is excellent for local businesses. If you run a local business, if you service your clients locally, you really should have a Google Business Profile or a Google Business page. It used to be called Google My Business, but all it is just setting that up. what they do is they do validate your business address. So there is a process to go through getting that. It takes several weeks, but it's definitely worth having. And when you talk about getting Google reviews, that's where the Google reviews go. They go on your Google business profile. And you can go in and edit that throughout, every month or 3 months or however long you want. By editing, I mean you can add new information, new reviews go on there, you can add new photos, before and after kind of things if that's what you do. Anything at all. Holiday specials, the hours you're open, if you're closed certain holidays, anything at all. A lead capture is you basically want to record when you're getting a lead. You want to, and this is one of the spreadsheets I'm going to show you. You want to at least have a name, a phone, email, zip, whatever you can get. If possible, how did you hear about us? Because that gives you an idea of how people found you. You want to get a booking program. I use Calendly. As most of you know, it's everywhere on emails and all that. If you want to set up a schedule with me, a time to talk with me or be interviewed on one of my podcasts or anything, I use Calendly. It works beautifully. It's integrated seamlessly with Google Calendar. It's a great program. And then, of course, a phone number, if you feel that that's needed. Usually that's optional because a lot of people they'll give out their email, but they don't like giving out their phone number. And then a lead log is basically just where you, how you're tracking all of this information and all the information that you need for all your tracking so that at the end of every month, you can see what's working and what's not working. And here you can download the sample spreadsheets that I made. I think there's 5 of them. They're all tabbed in an Excel spreadsheet. Okay. You want to track where your leads come from. These are the UTMs. Now, a UTM is just a little code that you put at the end of a link. Now, when you create, let me see if I can get that. Okay, I'm on an article here on senior safety advice. And here's a link that I put in the article. Now, if I right-click on this link and I inspect it, then I can see that this is the link right here. Here are the words that you see on the page. Is aging in place realistic for seniors? And here is the actual link. That's the code for the link. So that's just a regular code. I mean, it's just a regular link. There's nothing special about it. It's just whatever program you use to, write an email, or anytime you put a link in in an email or a newsletter or your website, this is what it creates. It creates this href and then the URL, and then at the end it's another A, and that's how you ended up. The strong means that it's bolded. That's all. That's what that means. But how does that go down? Okay, and that's what this is. So when you want to track it, let's say you want to track that. If I wanted to track that link, if I wanted to see in my analytics program how many people clicked on that specific link, then I would add something like this. I would add $UTM _ the word campaign, the equal sign, and then whatever it is that I labeled that particular link. It could be aging in place realistic. So then I could say, aging in place realistic. I could say, when your home feels aging in place realistic, because I want to know, okay, it's this link from this page. Whatever it is that you want to put here to let you know that where it's coming from and what that link is. That's only if. Not usually they use UTM links for sale pages, sale products, things like that. But it's just an easy way to understand where that link is coming from. So you do have to give it a name. So that's why you need, on a spreadsheet, you need to list these names, because otherwise you're going to forget what those names represent, because you're going to have a lot of them after a while. All right, So like I said, when you create the link, it's going to look like, let's say if I was going to do a link for, watching these words, home watch management, the link would look like the Ahref, then the domain name, whatever it is, and then whatever I labeled it. The page, I'm sorry, this would be the page, and then question mark UTM underscore campaign equal whatever I named it. The target blank just means that it's going to open up in a new page, but whatever. You just focus on this part. Actually, it's this. And then this always goes at the end of the domain. Okay, so you can put UTMs anywhere. You can say, maybe you want to track links to your website from a Facebook article or LinkedIn article or whatever. Then you just add that UTM to the back of that. And then your analytics program will pick it up. And I'm going to show you in a minute how to do it on Clicky. So on Clicky, these are the instructions. You just go to your Clicky dashboard, go to the website, click campaigns and setup. And we're going to do that here. I think I can have so many things on here. So we're going to go here. So you're going to go to your website. You're going to click, I don't have any on here. You're going to click on campaigns. And then you're going to set up a campaign, create a campaign. You're going to name it, whatever it is, Facebook grabbers, whatever. And then the matching string is the actual, whatever it is that you named it, whatever it is that you named it. That's the matching string. And that's it. It's not really that difficult. But Clicky does give you these two options, so you can decide which one you want to do. If you have any trouble with these, let me know. But also you can copy and paste all of this, the whole thing if you want to. You can put it into your AI program and say, can you explain this to me in easier steps if this is too difficult. I tried to make it as easy as I could, but if it's not easy enough, feel free to do that and let me know that it's not easy, and I'll see if I can make changes on there. All right, the lead log. Okay, so this is just a spreadsheet, and I am going to let me see if I can put the spreadsheet up. Hold on a bit. Okay, I had to go over to the other screen here. Well, I have a very big screen and it doesn't. Okay, so these are the spreadsheets that you can download. You can see there's the lead log here, which is what we're talking about. It recommends that you add these columns because this is the thing that you're going to be using to track your contacts, people you call, people who call you, what kind of, where they found you, what are they requesting, what kind of campaign did they use, if any, was it booked, was it completed, did they decide not to use you, no response, not a fit, timing, price, that they decided not to do it because of price, or you couldn't do it in the amount of time they needed, what kind of revenue there was, if any, is it a repeat client, is it, whatever it is that you want to put in these columns, you do so that you can track at the end of the month what worked, how many people came back for your services, how many people came for grab bars, how many people found you on Google, how many people came from Denver or from whatever town. The point, and then of course you always have contact information for future contacts, future marketing campaigns, be it emails or specials or sales or, whatever. So you can keep it on a spreadsheet as simple as this. It does require time, yes, because then you have to enter that information all the time. But that's where other programs come in if you don't want to. But I like this idea at the beginning, because at the beginning it really forces you to see it in black and white in simple terms so that you can understand it when you get those programs that don't always lay it out so clearly. So anyway, at the bottom here, you'll see I have a sample of each spreadsheet that we're going to talk about in this webinar, but I just wanted to give you some samples. These are just emails, email samples, and a checklist, and then these two are the actual spreadsheet workouts. All right, so let's get back to the slideshow. Okay, so you're going to put all that information on that spreadsheet. Again, that is the lead log. It's just basically a log of the leads that you're getting. You could do a separate log for actual customers, but I find that it's much easier to keep things as much as possible in one spreadsheet. My partner and I for SeniorSafetyAdvice.com try to work on one spreadsheet to link to all our other spreadsheets, but it's a lot of spreadsheets, so we are learning to combine them and condense them as much as possible. Again, if using a spreadsheet is just a little too much for you, and I can certainly understand that if you're busy, there are CRM programs, which is Customer Retention Management, I think. I can't remember what CRM stands for, but basically it's the idea of tracking all of this stuff in a very nice program. HubSpot has a free tier. Zoho, Pipedrive, and ClickUp, they all have, you can look and see if there's others, but these are the most popular, and they're very good for small businesses and solopreneurs. So take a look. Maybe that will be better for you. Just wanted to give you the option of just throwing spreadsheets at you. Okay, so you might think, well, what actually looks good? I mean, what should I be aiming for? Well, for a lead from a website for, let's say, for a month, let's always go with a month. The ballpark is if you can get, let's say you have 100 people come to your website every day. So then you want to try to get an average of 2 to 5% of those people to convert to do something. Fill out a form, pick up the phone and call you, ask for a free price, download quote, download a PDF, order something, whatever. The website to the lead is a 2 to 5% average. For emails, when you send out your emails, you want to have an average of 25 to 40% open rate. So when you send out an email, you're probably using a program, or you should be using a program. I use MailPoet, and that's tied to my WordPress website. But there's Brevo. I've spoken about Brevo before. And there's MailChimp, there's Constant Contact, there's a lot of email programs. I think I have something in my eye, but I think there's a lot of them. I'm not sure if Zoho has one. Anyway, the open rate, then when in that program, you'll have a open rate statistic. So you want it to be between 25 and 40%. And then the common range, the common numbers for closing rate, if you get a booked assignment, you go visit someone's home, you complete the virtual call, whatever, it's 40 to 60%. That's what you're aiming for. If it's less than that, then you want to try to figure out, what am I doing wrong? Where am I losing the person? Is the sales pitch too long? Is it not good enough? Is the price too high, too low? What's the story? What's happening? And that's where you want to do follow-ups, for anybody that doesn't take your service or doesn't call you back or whatever. You want to follow up and you want to say, I'm just trying to do my best business. I want to, be able to provide you with what you need. Can you please just tell me, why you decided not to use my services or what went wrong, or, anything like that. And that gives you an idea. On Google Business Page, you can put your phone number there, call to contact. And then I used to do this for my clients when I had my internet marketing business. I used to give them the stats, the numbers of how many people would call them from their Google Business Page. And that was good because some of them got a ton of calls from the Google Business Page. And that told me that we needed to add more information to that Google page, that Google Business Page. So that could be like I said before, photographs, new, maybe introduction to a new office member, anything at all, anything to continue adding to it to make it even more enticing, maybe sales, coupons, whatever. And then social media, of course, you're always tracking social media, who's coming from where. And that's what Clicky or Google Analytics will tell you. I don't think Analytics does a very good job of it. From the last time I remember, wasn't very good. Anyway, I could be wrong, but I know Clicky tells you for sure. All right. So every week, I do one every Wednesday with my partner, and if she's not available, I do it with myself. But you want to run a marketing meeting. It could be 20 minutes. It could be however long you want. It could change from day to day. We do ours every Wednesday. So you want to take the time to update the lead log. You don't want to wait till the end of the month because it's too much work. You want to keep updating it as you go along, hopefully, but at the very least once a week. You want to pick one action to do a week, based on the information you put in the lead log. If you see more people coming to you from Pinterest, then you want to maybe you're posting 5 Pinterest images a week, pump it up to 8 images, 10 images, or 5 a day, whatever. You know that's working, so put more effort into that. Maybe there's this particular pin that's bringing in a lot of traffic, and then you want to do more of those. You want to look at, ask yourself, what source is bringing you the most leads? What source has brought you the most revenue that, you've completed, that you've gotten money for? Where did leads drop off? Did they come to a certain page and then not go to any other page? Did they come to the contact page and then leave that page without filling it? Maybe having a phone number as a must-have on there, then, take that off and see if that increases the number of people that fill out that page. What service are people looking at now in this last week? What service has been the hottest? Maybe it's grab bars, maybe it's ramps, maybe it's assessments, maybe it's decluttering, I don't know. So take a look and see what it is that people are into that particular week. What's the trend? And then what action are you going to take that week? And write it down. Write it all down. I have a thing right here in front of me, my calendar, my book. Even though I use the Google Calendar every week, I transfer that information. I handwrite it because as I handwrite it, it takes me 10 minutes or so, but as I handwrite it, I remember things and I'll remember it more. And plus it's right here in front of me, right under my monitor. I can't miss it. This is what I have right here. I have this, and it is just, and I flip the page every single week and I put all my new duties for that week. And it's a great way to keep up with things. Okay. So interpreting the numbers. Now, the top 4 boxes here are like just a little, what do they call it? Sound bites. They're just little tidbits. So I wanted to do a little more. So I went back in and I added actionable steps for each one of these. So let's go, I'll skip the top boxes and just go straight down to the bottom, which is the most important. So if you notice that your traffic to your site or to your, you're getting more phone calls, whatever, if you notice that the traffic is up, but you're not getting as many leads or the number of leads are the same, you had 20, maybe last week you had 50 calls and 100 people a day to your website. Maybe this week you had 60 calls and 120 people to your website, but both weeks you still only got 20 leads. It's not the same. So this means you're getting more visitors, more calls, but they're just not taking action. So the advice is to fix that bottleneck. So you want to strengthen your call to actions, maybe make the call to action, call me button bigger or brighter, maybe move it to another part of the page. instead of saying the word submit, in the button, say get your free consultation or download the checklist. You want to make the forms as simple as possible. You want to add a phone number, your phone number above the fold. And the fold is this, when you go to a website, when you open up a website page, this is the fold right down here. So if I wanted people to call me from this website, then I would need my phone number up here, somewhere up here. That's why a lot of business websites tell you that this part of the website, this top part, should be as small as possible, because you want as much as possible up here, especially if you want people to call you or contact you. This website is just an informational website. I'm not asking people to call me, although they do contact me a lot. We have a contact form on here. But the point is, I don't need that on here. But you may. And if you do, you want your phone number above the fold. That's the fold. Okay. And that will hopefully increase the number of leads that you get. You're not having to increase your traffic, just the leads. Now, if the leads are up, but you're not getting more money, that means that more people are inquiring, more people are signing up, but they're not turning into actual paid work. So it's not about getting more leads. It's about making the leads better or making the pitch stronger, So you want to check what you ask for. Are you attracting the right kind of clients? You're attracting clients who are ready to buy, or are you just attracting clients who are kicking the tires? And that's okay if they're kicking the tires and just looking for information, as long as you can capture that email, that contact, so you can keep contacting them with sales specials, whatever. Are you, maybe the sales pitch isn't as clear as it could be. You should practice that with people who don't know what you do. It could be friends of friends. It could be anyone at all, and see how it sounds. Say it out loud. You record yourself doing the pitch and see where you may find that it isn't right. Copy and paste that actual pitch, write it down, copy and paste it, and put it into Chat or Perplexity or Claude or whatever AI program you're using. And ask it questions. Ask it, I think, my revenue is flat. My leads are okay, but my revenue is flat. I think there's something wrong with my pitch. Can you help me? And see what it tells you. See what advice it gives, if anything. And then make your quotes or proposals clear. There may be something that they're not that your readers are not understanding when they get to that information. Maybe it's not visually appealing. Maybe it's too many words. Maybe it's not very persuasive. Maybe you need to show before and after. I don't know. And you may need to do a few different things before you find the thing that works. But these are the things that you should be doing and looking at every week in your weekly meeting to see what you can do to fix things to make it better. If your Google page, Google business profile, Google business page, outperforms everything, like I was talking about with one of my clients, then you want to spread that around. You want to add more photos. You want to add weekly updates. You want to, request reviews every time you go out, every time anyone in your business, in your office goes out and meets someone. Get a review, add services, fill out every single thing that you can possibly fill out in that Google profile, and keep updating it and changing it and making it better and better. Because if people are finding you via that, then you want to add as much on there as you possibly can. And if self-reported referral keeps winning, that phrase is saying that if most of your clients are coming to you via referral, like word of mouth, then that's your strongest source of business. So, I don't know, I misspelled, formalize it. Formalize it instead of leaving it to chance. So, build maybe a tiny partner program, create referral partnerships with people, organizations, give them trackable UTM links so that, You can see exactly how many visitors or leads came to you from that partner. So let's say they have a link on their website to your website. So give them a UTM link that they can add to that link so that you can have an idea of how many people are coming to you from them. And that's a great way to see who is bringing you business. But yeah, definitely, if words of mouth is working, obviously not from clients, I mean customers, but you then you know if it is coming from customers, you know that it could also come to you from other businesses as well. And we all know that as aging in place professionals, you need partnership. It takes a team to work on aging in place projects, so build that team around you. Most aging in place professionals that I speak to now, that I'm in contact with now, and I'm in contact with a lot of them, they work in silos. They tend to not work with others in their area. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to build the directory, was also to help all these aging in place professionals who are in specific areas, who work locally, to connect with others in their area. There's no reason why a senior moving company shouldn't be working with a decluttering company, who shouldn't be working with an OT or a CAP certified specialist, a contractor, remodeler, handyman, whatever. All these services are and more are so important for that homeowner. Anyway, so what to track by channel. So if you have a website, then you definitely want to track your sessions, meaning how many people are coming to the site, how many times pages are open, conversion rates, how many people completed a form. For your email, you want to see how many emails are sent, open, clicked on, whatever is clicked on inside the email, how many booked calls you get from that email. Partnerships, referrals, the number of intros, leads, wins. I mean, you can read all of this. I'm not telling you anything you can't read. But the point is, these are ideas of things that you can track from each one of these channels, marketing channels. This I threw in because I wasn't sure if it was appropriate, but I left it in there anyway. These are just some scripts and snippets that you can use. When someone calls, whatever, just to say, yes, thank you, but I really would love to know how you heard from us, or where did you hear from us? Thank you again after you've done a project, would you mind leaving a quick Google review? It helps other fans. And then put in the link to your Google business profile, because then they can go directly there and give you the review. The only trouble is with the Google business profile, the person giving you the review has to already be signed into their Google account. So do know that they have to have it already open. Anyway, and then a partner outreach. This is just a little something that you can say just as a practice, or you can put this into chat and say, enhance this or modify this to my business. Something that you can say to other organizations, other people, other aging in place professionals, if you want to try to work together and give each other referrals. The common pitfalls that I saw in 25 years of internet marketing from my business clients was that they tried to track too many things at once. As I said at the very beginning, you don't have to do everything. Just pick a few things, track them, and then as you get used to that, then, add more and more. It's going to take time, but give yourself the time to do it. Don't beat yourself up if you're not doing everything at once, because if you try to do it all at once, it's overwhelming, and then you quit, and then nothing gets done. Inconsistent UTMs, if you don't keep track of the UTMs, then they don't serve you at all. If you're not going to keep track of them, then don't bother using them. Try to track it another way. But the UTMs are really one of the best ways to do it, but don't bother with it if you're not going to do it. Not having a single log, whether you're using a CRM program or whether you're using a spreadsheet, not having all of that in one place. If you have a sticky note here or a piece of paper there or a journal over here, that's not going to help you. When you do your weekly meeting, you need to look at everything all in one place. and then changing your offers too fast. You put up an offer and in a week it doesn't do anything, and then you change it to something else. No, give it 4 to 6 weeks, because it takes that length of time. It takes an average of 11 views of something on average, before someone actually takes action on that something. Do you ever get, in your email or when you're scrolling Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, you get the same ads pop up over and over and over again? And when you do buy something from one of those, which you may, when you do, try to think of how many times you saw that ad before you actually bought something, because it's very rare that you'll buy it the first time or second or third. On average, it's 11 times before someone actually just clicks on it just to go see, kick the tires and take a look at it. So it's 4 to 6 weeks. Give yourself that time, and then you should track it. I started this campaign on this date, and then 6 weeks later, mark it on the calendar. This is the end of that campaign. Check to see how it did. And then, of course, not asking for reviews. I know it's a little difficult, it's a little awkward, but nowadays people are used to giving out reviews. So just ask for it. It's self-promotion. You want business, ask for it. And then it's a 7-day, just quick start action plan. Just gives you an idea of, if you are a little OCD like me, you probably want to write down, okay, day 1, I'm going to do this. Day 2, I'm going to do this, and so on. And this is what you can do. If you assign this stuff to other people, then do that. But give yourself this time to figure out what you want to do. If it's too difficult, if you're so busy, then do 1 per week, and then just keep doing it. I always tell everyone, start with any project, start with something small, learn to do that small thing, and then add on to it, because otherwise it's just too overwhelming. So again, I have all these 5 handouts. I can download the sheets there. It'll also be in the description below the webinar. And I hope this wasn't too technical or too difficult. If it is, please let me know. I tried to make it as simple as I could. I know it's a dry subject, but it's so very important to help you build your business. If you're really serious about your business, you will track the things that you do so that you know what works, so you can do more of that, and you know what's not working so you can fix it. All right, I will hopefully see you next week, which will be Thanksgiving week. We're going to be doing our meeting on Wednesday, our Zoom meeting on Wednesday instead of Thursday, because of course Thursday is Thanksgiving. But I will hopefully see you there. All right, take care.